At 2:18 in the morning, she heard her own phone vibrate from the other side of the bedroom door. That would not be strange, except she had fallen asleep holding it. Now it was out there, with him. And when she opened the door, he did not look angry. That is what made her chest turn cold. He looked disappointed. He held her phone in one hand, screen facing down, and said, "Who keeps calling you this late?" She said, "Give me my phone." He tilts his head. Not much. Just enough for the room to understand it had changed owners. Then he said, "Why are you being defensive?" And there it was. The first trap is not always a fist. Sometimes it is a sentence that makes you doubt the person you were 3 seconds ago. Sometimes it is somebody taking what belongs to you, then making your reaction look like the problem. Sometimes the most dangerous room in the world is the one where you start editing your own face before you speak, because you already know which expression will make them punish you less. The first thing he stole was not her phone. It was her confidence in the evidence. And that is where we need to begin. Some people do not want partnership. They want influence with a heartbeat. They do not ask, "How can I love you?" They ask, "How much of you can I rearrange before you call it love?" They begin small because small is easier to defend. Why do you need to wear that? Why are you taking so long to text back? Why do you still talk to her? Why do you need a night alone? And if you answer wrong, they do not always scream. Sometimes they get hurt. Sometimes they get distant. Sometimes they let the silence sit at the dinner table until you begin apologizing to it. That is how a woman can lose a whole country without noticing the borders moving. One friend at a time, one outfit at a time, one password at a time, one version of herself she no longer wears because it is not worth the argument. And before anybody says, "But he was just insecure," understand this. Insecurity is a wound. It is not a permit. Pain can explain behavior. It does not crown behavior king. No one gets to turn their fear of abandonment into a leash around somebody else's throat. Emotionally, financially, socially, spiritually, or otherwise. That is not romance. That is somebody trying to build a prison out of questions. And the reason this kind of control is so hard to name is because it often arrives carrying flowers. It remembers your favorite drink. It calls you beautiful while checking your location. It says, "I worry about you," when what it means is, "I need to know where you are." It says, "I just want us to be close," when what it means is, "I need the rest of the world to get quieter around you." It says, "I do not like sharing you," as if your friendships, your laughter, your sleep, your clothes, your time, your body, and your breath were prizes he won at a carnival. But listen. A person who loves you does not make freedom feel like betrayal. Read that again in your spirit. A person who loves you does not make freedom feel like betrayal. If your no causes a performance, a punishment, a threat, a breakup speech, a disappearing act, an interrogation, or a wave of guilt so heavy you say yes just to make the air breathable again, then your yes is being negotiated under pressure. And pressure is not intimacy. Pressure is pressure. You are not hard to love because you require room to remain a whole person. You are not cold because you do not want to be monitored. You are not selfish because you do not surrender your nervous system to keep somebody else comfortable. You are not dramatic because your body notices what your mouth has been trained to excuse. Here is the part nobody tells women because they are too busy teaching you how to be chosen. Being chosen by the wrong person can feel like being slowly erased in a beautifully decorated room. You will still have mirrors. You will still have dinner. You will still have somebody posting pictures of you. But you will start disappearing in places no photograph can capture. You will lose your laugh around certain subjects. You will rehearse your truth before you tell it. You will keep your screen turned down. You will hear a car pull up and your body will know who it is before your eyes do. That is not you being irrational. That is your life sending you a weather report. Storm conditions. Take cover. And I am not saying every difficult relationship is unsafe. I am saying you do not need a courtroom verdict to take fear seriously. Fear is not always accurate, but it is always information. Ask it what it knows. If someone's reactions make you afraid to have needs, boundaries, friends, privacy, or a life beyond them, tell one safe person the truth, not the polished truth, the real sentence. I am scared of how they react when I say no. Make a code word with someone you trust. It can mean call me, stay on the phone, come get me, or contact help. Keep essentials accessible if you may need to leave quickly. Identification, medication, keys, a charger, important documents, and a way to get to a safer place. If it is safe to do so, keep a record of concerning behavior somewhere they cannot access. If it is not safe, do not risk your safety trying to build a perfect case. Safety first, evidence second. And if they monitor your device, search history, accounts, or location, use a safer device or a trusted person's phone to reach support. The National Domestic Violence Hotline warns that internet use can be monitored and offer confidential support and safety planning options. You do not owe an unsafe person notice. You do not owe them a final conversation in private. You do not have to prove you are hurt enough to ask for help. Leaving or preparing to leave is not failure. It is a woman choosing to remain alive inside her own life. The night she got her phone back, she did not argue anymore. She looked at the screen, she looked at him, and something ancient inside her stopped begging to be believed. Not rage, recognition. The kind that arrives when a woman realizes she has been calling a cage communication because the bars had a voice she recognized. She did not become heartless. She became difficult to manipulate. She did not become cruel. She became expensive to mistreat. And that is a price some people will never forgive you for charging. Charge it anyway. If this sounds like a room you have been living in, do not carry it alone. Save this video. Send it to a woman who has been shrinking to keep the peace. Start one honest conversation today. For more language, for the wounds nobody taught you how to name, visit mamagraves.org. And remember, if love requires you to disappear, it is not asking for love. It is asking for a witness to your own erasure.